County Board of Commissioners meeting for April 27, 2026. If you would please stand for our invocation and pledge allegiance. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for a beautiful day in Berry County. We thank you for the board and all of our constituents and the people that guide our decisions. May we debate this stuff thoroughly. May we always keep you in mind. Through your name we pray. Amen. There's the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. For purposes of attendance, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bassett. Here. Carlton. Absent. Campbell.
Here.
Getty. Absent. Smelker.
Here.
Tennyson.
Here.
Hatfield.
Here.
And Jackson.
Here. Thank you. Reports from state or county officials. Are there state or county officials with us this morning that would like to update the board? You're up.
Well, we're losing one in May. Now we got a replacement here, and this is Noah Miller. So we're going to swear him in today. Raise your right hand. No? Is that me? Try this again. Noah, do you solemnly swear or affirm that you support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, and that you have faithfully discharged the duties of the office of Deputy Sheriff in and for the City of Hastings, County of Berry, and State of Michigan according to the best of your ability?
I do.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir.
This is the funding source for us here, so.
Welcome, young man.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yes, welcome.
Yep. Welcome, Noah. We have the radio.
Welcome, Norm.
We have the radio.
Welcome again.
Regularly themselves be an issue.
Yes, there is.
Closing the gap on the rest of the program.
All right.
Yeah. Make sure he knows to ticket that big white truck up there.
He pulls you over, I'm laughing. Just a quick update. In-car Motorola radios are being they're almost all installed right now, and portables are being issued. And what we're waiting on is the body cams, because the body cams, there was a microphone and body cam in one. They weren't quite set up for it, so we decided to go to the, I can't remember the model number, but we had to send all those back and get the regular body cams back. So that's where we're at with all that. Any questions?
Any idea when the body cams might be? Did they give you any guess?
It should be soon.
Yeah, I thought this,
Within a week, maybe 2 weeks,
Yeah.
we'll be going live.
I was thinking the end of this month here, but got to do something with this post here. Yeah, we can move this back.
Any issues with Barry Roubaix?
Not that I heard, no. Did you hear any? No.
It actually went very well.
A lot of people in town. Everywhere, not just in town, everywhere,
Yeah.
so,
Anything else?
As many people as the town.
yeah.
Did I forgot to ask you, but did I send you the pictures of the support that they put in underneath the Sally Port?
No.
No? All right, I'll send those today. So,
Sally Port not doing well?
no, the beams, they're concrete beams, and of course you got the rebar in them and everything, but you could see when you pulled a car in, you could see a gap. They're all cracked, and you could see a gap, and then when you backed on out, they'd go back on up, so we had to put supports in there. And that's a mechanical room underneath us there, so we didn't think we needed a patrol car being parked in our mechanical room, so, all right.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you. Additional state or county officials? Hearing none, limited public comment. At this time, any member of the public wishing to address the board may do so for up to 3 minutes for items listed on our agenda.
You don't have to wait for me.
Good morning, Commissioners. I just want to say thank you to you guys and to Eric. You're getting the chief deputies up where, Eric and I have worked on this for 2 years, And when Michael was in, he was not willing to look at this, even though law says they should be, because they are an at-will employee. And I really appreciate you guys looking at their pay and getting them up where they are. Thanks a million. Appreciate it much. I know, don't get used to me giving you kudos.
Additional public comment.
Morning. Oh, where to start now? You're going to approve administrative raises today, and I took a look at those. I'm just sitting there. You have a vacant deputy administrative position. I did talk to your county chair last meeting and asked what absence meant in that posting. Well, it meant anytime the administrator's on vacation, and anytime he's out of the office, well, that puts an undue burden on that deputy administrator. I see those positions are getting raises today. There's apparently annual reviews. At the annual review is when those raises should really be given, not a 3-year annual increase without reviews. So I'm not sure why or how that happens, but it, to me, is ridiculous. I have talked in the past about percentages don't work. Percentages makes the rich get richer and the poor stay poorer. So with your raises, if you look, you have your bottom employees getting hundreds of dollars in raises annually, and your top, well, your county administrator is going to get, what, 1 year is $6,500, and next year is $6,900, I think, like that, or $6,700. So as you continue to say, well, we don't know how to keep employees, well, once again, when you start doing percentages, the wage gap widens each and every time. You didn't address the real issue, I don't believe, in your contracts. You don't address how you do your administrative reviews and how annual reports should be. Well, do you rate an increase? We're just going to do it right here all at one time and say, oh, now we're done. So your evaluations, when you come out to it, really have no meaning at all. Remote work is also now being at a public meeting, Commissioner says, it's not a case-by-case issue, and for only about 2 weeks. Well, remote work is supposed to, according to your county administrator, be approved by the county commissioners. If you haven't approved it, why is it being done? I do have, I'll talk about later, a response of, I don't know, cybersecurity, in my opinion. If you have people working remotely and they're accessing with unapproved devices, and you have no record of who or how or who's approving it, who's been approved, it really becomes a problem, I think. So you have numerous concerns going on here, and as commissioners, you don't seem to want to address them. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional public comment?
I'm going to be brief. I just want to say thank you to you guys for stopping by and visiting. You know, this is a very important project to us, and we want to go forward. We want to find a path forward. And so I would appreciate your help doing that to get this thing approved and moving. So, thank you.
Thank you. Additional public comment? Approval of written agenda. At this time, any member of the Board of Commissioners may ask for an item to be removed from the consent agenda and placed under items for consideration. Hearing no such request, does any commissioner wish to change the agenda additionally? Hearing no such request, the agenda is approved as written. Various correspondence. Does any commissioner have correspondence they'd like to share with the board? Consent agenda. Commissioner Campbell.
I move for the approval of April 14th, 2026 Board of Commissioners meeting minutes.
Support.
Motion by Campbell, support by Hatfield for all items listed on the consent agenda. Discussion is not allowed and a roll call vote is required. All those in favor vote aye, opposed vote nay. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bassett?
Aye.
Calton's absent. Campbell.
Aye.
Geddes absent. Smelker.
Aye.
Tunison.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. Consent agenda is approved. No presentations or public hearing this morning. Items for consideration. Andrew.
Good morning, and thank you for allowing me to present a whole slew of remonumentation greatness this morning.
Yes.
Another great year we're looking forward to here. So, 2026, first is my contract for services. There's 2 positions that's required by the state for this grant to be conducted in the county, and one of them is the grant administrator, and that is the first contract for services.
And I think commissioners, we do these every year.
Every year.
So are there any changes? This looks like it was pretty much boilerplate.
Pretty much boilerplate. Compensation changes on my side, none for Brian Reynolds, the surveyor, who's the second half of this. The peer reviews, all the same members, and the contracts, the only difference is the compensation for the services because of the change in the annual grant.
Okay.
Any-
All right, questions from commissioners? Like I said, these are boilerplate, we do them every year. The chair would entertain a motion for approval of the 2026 agreements for remonumentation grant administrator services contract with Anderwild LLC and authorize the chairperson to sign on behalf of the county.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Tunison, support by Smelker for approval of the 2026 agreement for remonumentation grant administration services with Anderwild LLC and authorize the chairperson to sign it. Further discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Campbell.
Aye.
Geddes absent. Smelker.
Aye.
Tunison.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
Carlton's absent. Hatfield.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
Thank you.
One of several. Next, 2026 remonumentation county representative contract.
Same boilerplate as last year. This is for the second half of it. County representatives, the other half of the requirement by the state. He oversees the surveyor services. Mr. Reynolds is not available today, but he, as you are well aware, is a long-standing member of this project, so.
All right, the 12,000 is the normal.
Correct.
That's the same.
Yep.
Okay. Motion by Hatfield, support by Smelker. All right, motion by Hatfield, support by Smelker for approval of the 2026 agreement for remonumentation county representative services contract with Brian Reynolds PS and authorize the chairperson to sign on behalf of the county. Further discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Geddes absent. Smelker.
Aye.
Tunison.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
Carlton's absent. Campbell.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
Thank you.
2026 peer review board appointment contracts.
Yep. These are again, the same as last year. These are the members of the peer review that oversee the work. They review all of the surveys that come in, make any recommendations for changes or additional work to be conducted, and then approve them for processing with the state.
Okay. Who would like to make that motion?
So moved.
Support Campbell.
Motion by Hatfield, support by Campbell for approval to appoint the following licensed surveyors to the Berry County Remonumentation Peer Review Board for 2026 and authorize the chairperson to sign the attached 2026 agreement for peer review services on behalf of the county. Stephen C. Culver with Arrow Surveys, Michael P. Pratt with Crane Land Survey, Cameron Reed Lear with XL Engineering, Randall J. Jonkert with Jonker Land Survey, Rodney Lee Bredwick with Land and Resource Engineering, and Ryan Miller with R.D. Miller Land Survey. Any additional discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Smelker.
Aye.
Tunison.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
Carlton's absent. Campbell.
Aye.
Geddes absent. Hatfield.
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
Thank you.
And finally, 2026 monumentation surveyor agreements.
Yep. Same standard contract that we've been using for probably decades now. And the only difference from last year is the change in the services amount, which again is just based on the change in the annual grant. Last year was $63.50 per surveyor, and this year it's $56.50. It's down.
So it went down, huh?
Yes, it did.
Are we getting fewer corners put in?
Brian can talk to that better than I can, but from my understanding, it sounds like there's been a change in how they are calculating which get the fee assessed, which deeds or which recordings at the registers get the fees assessed. I'm not fully up to par on that one, but he mentioned that from a previous conversation he had, so.
Do you know how many corners they got done last year? Did they get everything done that was scheduled?
I think it was all but one. I think because there's always a subtraction and addition throughout as the corners come in, as they encounter problems, they swap them out throughout the year, and then usually there's an additional handful that just get added to it. So we come up to roughly, I think we were -1 from the last year, but this year we're set for, I believe, 36.
Okay. Who would like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Support. Motion by Tennyson, support by Hatfield for approval to enter into the attached 2026 monumentation survey agreements and authorize the chairperson and grant administrator to sign the attached agreements on behalf of the county. Additional discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bassett?
Aye.
Felton's absent, Campbell?
Aye.
Getty's absent, Smoker?
Aye.
Tennyson?
Aye.
Hatfield?
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, since I got a little jumpy this morning, we happen to miss item 1 on our agenda. The chair would entertain a motion for approval of claims in the amount of $47,604.84.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Smelker, support by Campbell for approval of claims in the amount of $47,604.84. Discussion. Madam Clerk, would you call a roll?
Felton's absent, Campbell?
Aye.
Getty's absent, Smoker?
Aye.
Tennyson?
Aye.
Bassett?
Aye.
Hatfield?
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved. Next up, Rachel. Good morning.
Good morning. So we have our Kent Safe Chem agreement for hazardous waste disposal at their Byron Center Safe Chem location, which is co-located with that South Kent landfill out there on 100th Street. The agreement period is April 1st through March 31st of next year, and it will cover up to $7,800 in hazardous waste, which is $39 per household equivalent for 200 individuals. We'll be using a voucher system for that. So this is actually, it's the same cost as Kalamazoo. I don't anticipate we'll spend the $7,800 because their hours are much more limited than Kalamazoo's. They're open Mondays. There is a typo in the agreement, but it's 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on Mondays. And they accept many hazardous waste, including electronics, at this location. So the only thing that our 2 new additional sites accept that we accept that they don't at our event is tires.
So 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on Monday. So you
Yep.
have a short window there.
A short window for the Kent County, but Kalamazoo has a lot better hours.
Okay, is it located in southern Kent County by any chance, or where is it located?
Yep, Southern Kent County, so it is Highway 131 and 100th Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty close. It's the closest Kent County site to Berry County.
Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, questions from commissioners?
Rachel, you might want to just mention the grant that PADNOS has received for electronics.
Oh, yeah, so PADNOS has actually, our Hastings PADNOS here has recently received a grant to allow electronics recycling at their location. So in addition to scrap metal, you can now bring electronics, which I just brought a big computer and TV I picked up from the Commission on Aging that I didn't want to have to move 2 more times. So I thought I would just drop that off. So that's,
Good to know. Does it
Yes.
say how long that is good for, or how long that grant runs, or?
do you remember? I don't remember if Brent said, but,
I'm not sure, but it's, the cost is covered. So they have in the past accepted some electronics, but with a fee. So now the fee has been eliminated.
Yeah,
We're
so,
talking TVs, computers, monitors.
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Good.
yep,
that is good.
it is. And our prices have gone down for paying at the electronics as well. It's 25 cents a pound and 35 cents a pound for oversized, which you expect those things to go up, but they're going down, so that's helpful for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Additional questions from commissioners?
Do you have an event coming on Saturday?
We sure do. Our hazardous waste event is this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We are requesting registration from people to keep the flow of traffic a little more manageable for our volunteers. We'll have 5 tire trailers this year, so bring us your tires. And we're also accepting expanded polystyrene foam, so like styrofoam, coolers, takeout containers, big block foams. We cannot accept peanuts or the foam boards, like for installation. All that information is available on the Berry County Recycles.org website.
And we're promoting that in our local media and assuming as well?
Oh, yeah. Yep, the ad and an article went out in the reminder this last weekend. I believe also the banner was the weekend before that. And it's on the website and the Facebook.
Additional questions? The chair would entertain a motion for approval of a 1-year contract with Kent County Department of Public Works to allow Berry County residents to utilize the Byron Center Safe Chemical Hazardous Household Waste Drop-Off Facility up to 7,800 calendar year 2026.
So moved.
Support, Campbell.
Motion by Hatfield, support by Campbell for approval of a 1-year contract with the Kent County Department of Public Works to allow Berry County residents to utilize the Byron Center Safe Chemical Hazardous Household Waste Drop-Off Facility up to 7,800 in calendar year 2026. Further questions or discussions? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Felton's absent, Campbell.
Aye.
Getty's absent, Smelter.
Aye.
Tennyson.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
Thank you.
Appreciate what you do, Rachel. Keep it up. Courtney?
Hello,
Good morning.
good morning. I am just coming today. You'll see the steering committee minutes are in your packet. That was formed back in 2023, and we feel that we have kind of come to the conclusion of our usefulness or need to have that committee. The committee is formed of representatives from the commissioners as well as Sir Nipple Manor and Commission on Aging. And so that was to oversee the facility project, and we're now in those last couple of months, and all the big decisions should have been made. So we feel we are good to go, and we really do have good communication amongst the group anyway, so if something did come up, we're confident that that will be communicated appropriately.
Commissioner Hatfield, you're on that committee?
I am, and actually, Commissioner Getty and Commissioner Tennyson are also on it. I think that the committee has performed a important communication role particularly during the early stages, but as Courtney said, we're in wrap up at this point, and I don't think that there's any need to continue to bring that group together on a regular basis. So,
Commissioner Tennyson?
I totally agree with that. We've gotten over the hurdle, and Courtney and she's doing a great job out there keeping an eye on things, and if anything comes up, then she'll convene us again, and we'll go from there.
Okay. All right, I have no questions on that either. Other questions from commissioners?
Commissioner Getty was at the meeting last week, and she did concur with this also, so 3 representatives on it are unanimous, as were all the other members that were there.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion for approval to dissolve the steering committee as recommended by the steering committee.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Campfield. Support by Smelter.
Don't like me, does he?
To dissolve the steering committee as recommended by the steering committee. Additional questions or discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Campbell.
Aye.
Kathy's absent, Smelker.
Aye.
Tennyson.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
Colton's absent, Hatfield.
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. You giving us a projected date, like a completion date?
I will give you a ballpark.
There we go.
Okay. The ballpark would be late July. We're hoping to get our occupancy permit, and then moving early August. And so, so far, so good.
Good before snow weather.
Yes. I can't take another winter where we're
You
at.
mentioned lasagna dinner.
Oh, yeah, Friday night is our lasagna dinner, so it's our annual fundraiser. So join us from 5 to 7. It'll be a lot of fun. If you can't make it, then we've got a few auction items on Facebook that'll be going up this week, and, yeah, so, yep, we're excited. Good things are happening.
Awesome, thank you. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Jeff Kiesler, Planning and Zoning. So the Planning Commission approved a text amendment in January to add compassion homes as a special land use in the RR and A zoning districts. I brought that before the board, I believe in February, and Commissioner Getty had a couple of lines that she wanted to strike from that language. So you have in front of you today both a red line text that was showing the original changes, and then you should also have a clean copy where those changes are edited out. So, and the changes were in the original intent language for the section. We removed, it said compassion homes are permitted as a special land use in the A agriculture and rural residential districts and/or other appropriate residential districts as determined by the Planning Commission, subject to site plan review and the following standards and conditions for approval. And Commissioner Getty and I think the rest of the commissioners felt that the other appropriate residential districts as determined by the Planning Commission was unnecessary language. So we took that out, and then in point 7, the language read, the special land use permit shall be reviewed periodically every 3 to 5 years or upon change of ownership of or operation. And we struck the periodically every 3 to 5 years. So the language now is the special land use permit shall be reviewed upon change of ownership or operation. So those were the only two changes. And if there are no other concerns or questions?
Yeah. Questions for Jeff?
No, that's good.
I think that addressed everything we had with our concerns, took care of everything in there, so.
Fantastic.
There are no questions. The chair would entertain a motion for approval of the zoning text amendment to make compassion homes a special land use in RR and rural residential and A agriculture zoning districts.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Tombstone, support by Bassett for approval of zoning text amendment to make compassion homes a special land use in rural residential and agriculture zoning districts. Additional discussion or questions? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Kathy's absent, Smelker.
Aye.
Tennyson.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
Colton's absent, Campbell.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
Great. A couple of other things if I could. We are updating our zoning ordinance right now, and we've kind of been going out to the county and sharing the highlights of the update with people. This Wednesday night at the Community Foundation, we're going to have a zoning ordinance workshop where we're going to kind of get into a little bit of the meat of things a little more. It's not going to be so much a highlight. It's going to be, does this make sense? Does this work for the county? So that's open to the public, and we're encouraging people to come out to that. And then I also just wanted to take a second and introduce Amy Bontrager, who is our new administrative assistant. Amy's been with us since February. Probably some of you have had a chance to meet her, but if not, just wanted to introduce her and give her a Berry County welcome. So,
Okay.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
all right, and that's it. So,
I appreciate it. We will, I think you said we're doing an annual review or something next meeting potentially?
Yes.
See how that goes.
yep.
Okay.
All right.
What time was that workshop?
6 to 8, sorry about that. It's at the Community Foundation in the big room. So I think that has a title, but
Lisa Sharp.
thank you. Thank you very much.
What was the date again?
Wednesday, the 29th. Yeah. Thank you, folks.
Next up, Drain Commissioner Dahl. And Doug.
And Doug.
Commissioners, if you remember when we left
Morning.
off, I think there was consensus that we want to move this Crystal Lake project forward. The concern was on a private lake, why the county was paying 12%. So I have had some conversations with Doug and with Jim, and hopefully we can bring some light to some of that and make a decision where we feel we should be on this and move forward. So, go.
Thanks, Commissioners, for letting us come back up. I did a little bit of research on what we've done on other dams. Algonquin Lake, the county hasn't paid anything on theirs since 2000, when they rebuilt it in 2012. But that was strictly owned by the Lake Association for a lot of years. We just became delegated authority a couple of years ago. Legally, the Drain Commissioner didn't have any authority. But we paid nothing on that. Now, Cloverdale, we did a drain project, and we built the structures on the outlet of Long Lake and Cloverdale through the drain project, and the county paid 10.5% towards those structures. Crystal Lake back in 2008 shows they paid 5% towards it, but in '21 they paid 12.5% towards it. Jordan Lake, if you go back, 2011, the county only paid 1% on work that was done there. Stacy Hissong from Fahey Schultz had explained to me when they built the dam back in 2004 with Larry Protashevitz as the engineer, the drain district paid for that whole dam, and the county was on at 20% of that cost. So, but the biggest one I would look at is the Gun Lake Dam. The county paid 9.7% on that one, and like Bob said, Crystal Lake has no public access, neither does Gun Lake actually. The state owns property and people can pay to get in there, but Berry County doesn't have a public access where normal people can get in without paying separately. So that's at 9.7% that they were on that. Granted, the Gun Lake Dam was I think total 240,000, not 550,000. But, so, it's basically on the commissioners to decide. I think, and David and I talked about it, it would behoove the county to create a policy of what we will pay for. I think there is a benefit on these dams to the county to say, hey, we're the county of 300 lakes, and this is one of them. Maybe it's a draw for people, it does raise their assessments because they're lakefront or lake access properties. But I had Chad run 5%, and I had him run 0%, 9%, and 12% on assessments. David and I talked about 3 or 4. Chad we were caught off guard. We didn't know the meeting was today, so Chad was going to get them to us today, what 3% or 4% would look like. 9% would be 49,000, and 5% would be 27,000 on the county, spread out probably over 20 years. But it's good to have this discussion now, because when we have our day of review, which we have to have, well, it's a public hearing, but similar to a day of review, once that's done, we have to have the commissioners sign that roll. That's the way the law is, so.
Just a couple quick comments. Just the way the statute reads, it is the county board that determines whether there is an offset to pay for the project. It's really the county board's assessment role, so it is up to you guys. And David, you asked how did the county come into owning? It's a great question. Next time, anytime we come before the board on a lake level matter, we make sure we know the history of how it became the county's, because sometimes it could be private. But in this instance, in 1965, the Board of Supervisors, back then it was called the Board of Supervisors, delegated to pass the resolution delegating the Drain Commissioner to take all steps necessary in Crystal Lake project. And then the later court orders reflects that the action was done through, with the permission of the Board of Supervisors. So that's as far back I could find anything that had the county's involvement in it. And I'm not sure how this thing actually, or why it was actually built, but at some point the county did take jurisdiction over it. So, well, and I believe it's different too, so I don't want to make a blanket statement about how the county comes in to ownership.
Dams have become really interesting. It's so diverse on who built them, why they're there, who owns them, who's been maintaining, who's responsible if they fail. Ultimately, it doesn't seem to matter if there were 2,000 dams in the county. If one fails, we're going to get the bill for it. So that's what concerns me. Yeah, like I said, private lake, but, so you're saying that, I think in our conversation, you said a developer actually put these in and created the channel and the lake and everything like that to sell real estate. So, but at some point, we became the delegated authority, but did we become the owner or did we become a delegated authority? There's a difference.
Well, you have, the county has jurisdiction, is the way I would put it. The delegated authority is the Drain Commissioner or whoever else you pick. In this instance, it was the Drain Commissioner going back all the way to 1965. So, the land, who owns it, the statute, once you take jurisdiction over it, the statute allows you to acquire the real estate or the easements to get to the dam through arm's length transactions or by condemnation. So, again, it's going to be a mixed bag with everyone here. We do have easements to it. We get everything. There were pre-existing ones that were inadequate, but now we've actually buttoned that up, so.
Okay, so if Crystal Lake has 2 dams?
Yes.
Okay, so if the dam at Crystal Lake fails, who's the DNR going to appoint, or DEQ, or?
Everybody.
Eagle, who are they going to appoint?
They're going to sue everybody.
Okay.
But, well, you know, the dam that failed up north was privately owned. They didn't sue the county in that one. Remember that catastrophe? I'm sure there would be an enforcement notice sent out before a lawsuit, but, and they try to work it out. But I'm sure the county would get a copy, Jim would get a copy. Who else? Probably the association would get a copy. I mean, they're not, you know, they don't have any.
They're generous.
Yeah, they spread the love, you know.
Okay, and again, the question is, why should the county be paying for a private lake at all? And we should probably look into this in the future as far as what we want to do with this. I didn't think 12% seemed reasonable. I was more along the lines of 5, somewhere in there. And my thinking with this was, we maintain Podunk Lake, and we maintained a few other dams at the expense of the county. So because this hasn't been taken care of, we probably would have some liability for getting this cleaned out, fixed, whatever the case is. I don't think that we would have all the liability. I'm not even sure we own it. You know, I mean, that's what I was trying to figure out, is who owns these dams, and are we responsible for them? But if we're responsible for maintaining them at this point, I wouldn't think that we would be liable going forward once we do this, but I think it's probably good on our part if we think about at least taking care of it to the point of getting it up to speed now, and then we're out.
Yeah.
Then we've done what we have done. We've done it with Podunk, we've done it with a few others, but commissioners, what say you? Ask questions?
Well, Podunk was a minimal cost per every 3 years, right? That was what? Inspection fee, right?
$1,000, $1,500. We got.
So, okay, yeah, so we didn't set something up then. We do now have a district set up.
Well, no, wait a minute. The resolution was passed to set it up. None of the work has been done on that yet. I should clarify that. We haven't set the district in court, we have not set the roll in court, we haven't set the percentages in court, none of that has been done. But there was 12,000 and change balance before we decided to do this.
Yeah,
So-
we decided not to charge the residents prior, but going
Correct.
forward,
Correct, yep,
right?
yep,
So-
exactly.
You just said that this lake is a man-made lake, right?
Yep,
Crystal Lake is a man-made lake
Yep.
that a developer put in there to sell houses.
Yep,
on-
exactly.
On water.
yep,
Okay, so I guess my point is, those people that bought the property on that lake should be held responsible for maintaining their lake,
yep, there-
right?
yep, there is a, I mean.
So, I mean, I don't buy in that we should have to do anything on this myself.
Well, Podunk Lake was done privately too, so it's, yeah, it's a mess. And I think we,
And I agree that it needs to be cleaned out, I do. But at taxpayer expense, that we have no access to that lake, I got a problem with that, that's all.
yep, good
I
argument.
mean, a publicly lake, you've been talking about Gun Lake, yeah, but even though it's a state park, everybody and their brother can go up to State Park
Yep.
and ride their boat all they want out there.
That's
And
true.
the residents down there are not willing to give up their privacy
No,
to have a lake access,
nope,
correct?
correct.
So that's kind of where I'm at on one. So,
Two questions. One, looking at the draft, I may not be using the right terms, but the draft assessment
Yep,
that originally with a 12% contribution from us, someone who had a benefit factor of 1 was going to pay a yearly assessment of $230.86. If the county assessment share were to go to 0, what would then be a yearly assessment for someone with a benefit factor of 1?
benefit factor of 1 goes to 430, if I'm reading this right, 433.60.
Can I see that?
Yep,
Yeah, just,
I think I'm reading that right.
200.
Yep,
where's the 12% one? See,
yeah, let me,
that doesn't line up because of
Yeah, wait.
where you're getting the.
yeah, let me pull the 12, here's the 12%.
Benefit factor of 1 is 381 for 12%.
Right.
And the copy we got.
Yeah, on that same one,
Didn't sound right.
we got 381 at 12%, and we've got 433 at 0%.
It goes
But
up.
maybe, let me look at a
What
different
is
window,
that?
because,
Almost $60, I guess,
for you.
for you.
let me redo this, because that's a kind of a peculiar one. Let's do that one.
Same number.
Yeah,
It is the same
381.57.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like $60 a year.
$60 a year if it goes from 12 to 0.
Zero, yeah.
Okay. Second of all, you mentioned that because that is now a wetland rather than a lake, that the dredging that can be done is limited to 1/3 of it.
Yeah.
So if the dredging is limited to 1/3, how does that impact returning the lake to usable levels?
Well, first, it is a sediment catch. There's not much, I mean, they say there was fish in there at one time because they come down the creek.
Right.
But this is basically a giant sediment catch. And we were forced to reduce the amount that we can dredge from 5,000 yards down to about 2,400 yards, which will make it so they'll have to clean it up more often. Because you're getting a certain amount of sediment upstream. A lot of sediment from upstream, and we've had discussions with DEQ, and they told us to go fix the erosion, and we said we have no jurisdiction because it's not a drain, and we asked them to go check into it, and of course they didn't, so, because...
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to understand is, not that it necessarily is going to change
No,
my
no.
thought on our share, but when you only remove 1/3, does it return the lake to a usable lake?
It'll catch the sediment, yeah.
I think maybe, tell me if this is right. Yes, it will be usable, but because you can only remove a third rather than what you did before, it will require maintenance more often.
Yeah.
And you're
Maybe
also
is the right.
addressing the channel,
The
Yeah.
channel, yes.
so to make it usable.
Yep, that's the big usable part. The sediment catch right now is about this deep. And when we get done, we're supposed to shoot for 15 feet deep. So actually, I suppose you could put a boat in on there if you wanted to. And it'll be a third of an acre instead of 8/10 of an acre. So it won't be quite as big, but it's still,
Not ideal, but to be clear, the whole pond is not a wetland, it's part of it, that they won't let work activities occur in, so we
It's-
can't clear as much out anymore.
it's,
And we tried.
Good, a follow-up question?
Just an educated guess, Jim. Say they span this out over 20-year payments. What do you think it will cost Crystal Lake in just cleaning out a third of that? How often are they going to have to redo this? It's not going to last 20 years, is it?
we're hoping it does. Well,
Okay.
no, I mean, and let me fill that out. We did about 250 yards back in 18-19. It filled in about 3 years. So we're anticipating it's gonna fill in about 100 yards a year. We're taking 2,500 yards out, so that realistically should go to 25 years. No guarantees on it, though. I mean,
I was asking for an educated guess.
yeah, well, and the thing is, there's a lot of things that go into it. We've had a lot of complaints that the road commission puts a lot of gravel on the edge, and a lot of that's washed in. If maybe they cut back on doing that. It is a tarmac road. There was logging done after we did the sediment removal last time, and they said that created a lot of erosion because it left, a lot harder rains coming in. I mean, it's just really impossible. And in a perfect world, somebody would petition it as a drain district and we'd fix the erosion. God knows I don't want to go down that road.
Exactly.
So, yeah, there's a lot of different things that come in.
Thank you.
Commissioner Campbell?
Good morning. I think. Certainly a difficult situation here. Do we or do we not actually have liabilities on this dam?
That's...
$1 million question.
Yeah, no, I get it. And Eric and I had just had an email here recently about the same thing, because I've reached out to Mark Nettleton last year. First, Craig Manzer said, hey, how much insurance should we be carrying on these? And it's not clear, so I reached out to Mark Nettleton last year and said, okay, where is our liability here? If one of these fails, which will if this one failed, I don't know if it could take out the lower dam, may or may not. Could it send sediment downstream that we could get a violation? I suppose it's possible because the water does go down through there. Mark Nettleton he said, let me check into it. And I've called him about 2 weeks ago because it's come up with MMRMA again. Nobody seems to have an answer how much insurance we should have and how far on the hook we would be on any of these. I mean, the lake level statute said the petition the courts, the county petitions the courts and is on the hook basically maintenance and repairs. But it doesn't, and it can be spread on the people. It's a really crappy statute.
Mr. Chair, I basically think if that dam were to fail, and John and I went down and looked at it, it's gonna basically fill up that channel.
Yeah.
It's not gonna fill up the whole lake. That's not big enough area to fill up that whole lake.
Oh, no, not fill up the lake.
Yeah, well, that's what,
basically.
to cause it to go down, basically you're gonna be stopping the water flow and getting down the channel, don't you think? I mean, the channel isn't very wide.
No.
But all that crap inside that sediment holding pond is solid stuff. A lot of it is solid. Because the water's come down to a trickle where it's going around it, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so don't you think it's gonna basically fill in that channel?
It would do that, but my bigger concern is if it fails, it's gonna be doing a big rainstorm. And there's a lot of water comes out of that culvert coming in, And if it blows that dam out, that's gonna convey all that water. It's probably, there's gonna be a lot of suspended solids that won't settle out immediately. They'll go across the lake, probably down through the bottom dam and over, I think, to Fish Lake.
Can I take a crack at this? I mean,
Yeah.
I think if it, in an unlikely situation, something bad happened, the dam failed, and you did everything you were supposed to do, we had dam safety reports, do the inspections, and there's no property damage, so it fills up that. The state is gonna look to the county to fix it. The county is gonna look to the assessment roll to pay for it, whatever this comes out to be. So to say you have liability, well, I don't, as a lawyer, I don't ever want you have any liability, nobody does. You did everything you were supposed to do. But who's gonna pay for it? That you're gonna look back at your historic rolls and figure it out,
Who's gonna be named in the suit? Violation notice. Are we doing maintenance and inspection on these dams right now?
Every 3 years.
There's a program, under Part 315, you have to do these periodic inspections and.
And the state does them?
No.
They send out the notice.
Yeah, they send us a notice.
Our job's done.
Yeah, and as long as, if it's under the county jurisdiction, we're mandated to make the inspections get done and then correct any deficiencies that there is there. So, and we do it every 3 years. I think there is some rule about if it's a minimal dam, like Gun Lake, it's 4 years, but we do every 3 years. That way, there's no question, it's all, 11 of them, 12 of them, every 3 years, boom, boom, boom.
So the county's been paying for these inspections and
No,
maintenance?
no, that was billed into the last cost. Now, that is on this roll. That one's a little more expensive because of the upper one is 8-foot fall, I think, into the water, and the lower one is significantly bigger, so it's a little more expensive, and $2,500, $3,000 for inspections on that one, so.
Mr. Chair? So if we're doing our due diligence by inspecting this, and we get whoever this professional is that inspects it, and they say it's okay, and something catastrophic comes through
Correct.
there, so who's it fall on them? I mean, we did our due diligence as a county, right?
Right, except this inspection said that has to be cleaned out. This work needs to be done. And the engineer sent
That's what the
that.
inspector's saying?
Yeah,
That-
yeah.
Okay.
It's needed to, we kind of let it slide because we've been working on a permit. But yeah, this last inspection, and Tom Horak at Dam Safety said, yeah, that needs to be cleaned out. Of course, that didn't gain us anything about the clean out. You would have expected Dam Safety would reach out to wetland and say, wait a minute, this needs to be cleaned out. Why don't you give them some latitude and let them have more clean out? But they said, well, we're not going to do that, so.
Mr. Campbell, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, how did this get so difficult?
That's why you get the big bucks.
I mean, they started a project that obviously was done for profit when it was put in,
Yep.
obviously. Somewhere along there, now it's become a question mark whether we are or are not, but it sounds like if they're requiring inspections,
Yep.
that makes us some part of this for sure.
Yep.
Or they wouldn't be requiring us to do it. They require somebody else to do it.
And if it didn't have a lake level, DEQ will do the inspections, because we found out on Orangeville, it never got a set, lake level through the courts, therefore it's not under the county, therefore Tom Horak comes down and does them for free.
So is the lake level on this one?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Set in 69, and the supervisors are the ones that sent I think the people signed a petition? I don't know how that.
Well, no, the county passes resolution in 60,
Yeah.
same year as the court order, actually. March, and then the court order
Send it
was
to
May.
the courts
Yeah.
say, yep, get this stuff done, and then it's, yeah, it's a convoluted.
And the county has obviously benefited from years and years of collecting property tax, which would have normally been a field with a creek running through it.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is benefits to the county in the revenue end of it. That much money, probably not. But, I mean, I debated whether to get a hold of a couple of our township assessors and saying, okay, how much would the SCVs change on this if the dam were gone? Because DEQ did offer to give us a grant to take them out. You know, they're more than willing to give us lots of money to take out any dams that we'll get rid of.
And obviously, the question mark here is, I'm sure going through everybody's head, is the justification of spending outside county money outside of that lake area. The justification for doing it for that particular project.
Right.
Is what's running rampant in my brain right now.
It's, I mean, you got, what, 44 property owners that, you know, pay more because they're on a lake, but, you know, hate to say it, but, you know, lakefront or lake access does come with a cost too, so.
And I know that we're talking about a dam project here, but we have done lots of other special assessments over the years that have, you know, Crooked Lake, many of them.
Yeah.
That have had to suffer the increases and stuff without, I believe, county funds thrown in on those?
No, they are.
County funds are thrown in on those too, Jim?
Yep. Basically, Michael and I had an agreement when I first came in, that the county, 14A is your road runoff calculation on the drain. And then I said, okay, historically, the county was on anywhere from 15 to 50% on most all drain projects. And I said, that's way beyond where I see a benefit to the county. And he and I come up with the idea of saying 5%. You know, it's not, you know, I mean, you can look all the way through them, and typically, that's what we've agreed to. 14A has to do with the road commission, but the 5% is basically, is there a benefit to the county for these projects? So, it's, and like I say, we can't find any consistency in any of the dams, so.
My first thoughts are that it would be unjust for us to do a 12% if we've normally been doing the 5% on other projects.
Yeah.
It seems like we're cherry picking projects or something. It could have be viewed that way.
That's kind of my belief, but you know, I could be wrong. I mean, it bothers me to pay my property taxes and go to a lake that I can't get on, but do I see where the county benefits at 5.67 mils per thousand on the SCVs on them properties that without it would not be lake access?
Exactly.
You know. That's why you guys get to make the, and, man, you all get to decide.
Girl behind the post.
I'm listening to everything that is being said. I think clearly the 12% no. Clearly the job needs to be done, okay? But trying to figure out our responsibility here. I happen to live on Upper Crooked, so I've been through a lot of that, and I don't know, it's a difficult decision, and I feel for the lake owners, but I'm having a hard time seeing that the county should be responsible beyond maintaining that dam.
Well, as Jim said, 5% is around 27,000, 3% is around 16.5, based on a $550,000 price tag on it. And I've gone back and forth on this from zero to seeing that if something goes wrong, we're gonna be paying for the attorneys and the defense on this. So that's where I was at, somewhere in that 3 to 5% range, I think is justifiable. I don't think 12% is, but input, make a decision,
I feel that my constituents in the northern part of the county shouldn't have to pay anything for a private lake. So, on my farm, I dig a pond out there, and you guys are gonna pay 5% of it?
Can I fish?
Yeah. I would let you, but I was told you can't down there. So, anything more than zero on this is gonna be a no vote on me.
Okay.
For my constituents.
I'm in consensus with John on this one. I mean, we're paying, we're having the dam inspected, and we're doing our due diligence on that. And,
To finish that, with the trip down there, it has to be done. I would vote yes on getting it done. I just don't think the county taxpayers should be in, it's private owners.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
So, I fundamentally agree with these gentlemen. They came and talked to me. I agree with their position. It's a private lake. We want to, it's going to remain private. We want it private, right? My problem as the president of the homeowners association is this is what's been communicated to us for, I think they've been working on this for 15 years. I've only been part of this for 3. I bought the place and started working on this. And all the documentation has been shared all along. It's this contribution, right? So I'll do what I have to do, right? If I have to go back, fall on a sword with these folks, we're gonna do that, right? Jim's gonna be right there beside me doing that, but the communication was there for a long period of time. I wish somebody would have caught it before we got here.
So do we.
Yeah.
Yes, I bet.
Agree with you 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I make one comment? Digging a pond on your own property would be one thing. The problem is, they went through the steps to get it in the name of the county, to go through the court actions, to set a legal lake level, and all that garbage that goes with it, and transfer it so the county could have oversight of it. And, I don't know if you would have to do that for zoning or for, being able to sell lots or whatever, but, that would make a lot of difference. If, I get John's point, if he dug a pond for himself, that's one thing. But if he goes through all the steps and petitions that, technically they could do it, Somebody could dig a pond and be the sole owner, and they sign 66% because they're the only one on it. They could have the county go through the feasibility study and set the legal lake level and set the special assessment district and all that stuff. So, but without that, the county couldn't pay for anything. So, it's a tough one, so.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Does it make more sense that we, instead of going through this again, that we set something today? Like, okay, let's say 3%. Never to exceed over 3% or 5%. Does it make sense to tackle that? And we have a policy of that? Or do we have to look at this individually each time this comes around?
Apparently, there are so many of these out there, it might behoove us just to have a grasp on what we've done in the past, but I think that's something we should get accomplished here in the near future, is to put that down. But I don't know that making a decision on it without having a little more research is probably the right way to go.
That's fine. What is your recommendation?
You're spot on, Bob. We need to set a policy on this.
Here's my recommendation. I'm going to make a motion, and this is my thought process with this. Because of the past that we've paid for some other projects that, and we have some liability if there's a failure or an issue that's already been noted in the dam inspection, that I'll make a motion at 3%. We'll take a vote on it. If that vote goes down, the next motion's going to be at 0%. So we need to get this project moving forward. And if there's another suggestion, I'm open to it. But that's kind of feeling where we're at with it. Crickets.
Yeah. Making any contribution to me based on strictly the lake issue is difficult. But looking at the potential liability that we have if we don't do something, it's going to make this look like a very minimal expenditure. So I think at 3%, I would support that. I mean, at 3%, you're talking, basically, 18, putting in $18, per unit out there, and, total of, $44,000 in terms.
It wouldn't be 44,000,
No, it's
It's not that much.
9,000,
something like that.
So,
worth the total cost.
okay, would you like to make that motion?
No, because you already did. That's it.
I'll-
I'll support it.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair, I'd recommend you don't make the motion.
Okay.
Then I'll make the
You'll
motion.
make the motion. Would someone like to support the motion at 3%?
I'll support that motion.
Okay. Chairs entertain a motion, support by motion by Hatfield, support by Campbell for adoption of resolution 26-15, authorizing expenditure for the maintenance repair of the lake level project at Crystal Lake with the county assessment not to exceed 3%. Discussion.
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure that going forward, we do this, but we establish a goal of setting some sort of standard going forward.
Yes.
Because we can't be doing this on every lake or every dam or whatever in this county, because it'll drive us crazy. And then, since setting expectations, it sounds like we've set some expectations for these people for years. That's the other thing. That I think is a piece of this. But going forward, I'd rather this not be a precedent, if you will, but a chance for us to just take a look at everything again and establish some standards.
Yeah, we need to do that. We definitely, going forward, we need to do that, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Campbell.
I agree with Commissioner Bassett. We really don't have a clue what all this means and what it comes to, but I do feel an obligation that it has been done some in the past. So I feel somewhat of an obligation there. We do provide some monies in other projects, but I agree, we don't want to be here on every one that comes up in the future, so I hope that when it's completed today, we don't put it on the back burner, but that we get it cured and done and set.
Okay. Additional comments? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Smelter,
Nay.
Tennyson,
Aye.
Bassett,
Aye.
Thompson's absent, Campbell,
Aye.
Getty's absent, Hatfield,
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved. Get that work done.
Now, wait a minute. To pay 3%, but our resolution is to spend the money, and that we need a motion on.
And we have-
Oh, that's right.
That was,
We had the statute requires that if we spend more than $10,000, the board has to approve it. So that was the resolution that we originally presented.
Didn't we
Yeah.
just say adoption of resolution 26?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that, I heard,
No, we adopted the resolution.
Okay.
I'll work with a
It's passed.
maximum on our.
Good. All right.
I just want to I don't want somebody coming back, wait a minute, you didn't get the resolution to exceed, you got a percentage, but, okay, cool.
I think we're good.
You okay with
That in it?
Within the
That in the way you wrote it? Okay, cool, that's what we want.
Very good.
Cool, thanks,
Have a
guys.
great day. Thank you.
with you on let's work together on the policy.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Mark.
All right, have on this.
Okay. Chair will be at recess.
Mr. Jackson, fellow commissioners. I'm here before you this morning because recently we had a 2016 Chevy Tahoe that was assigned to us that was involved in a collision resulting in considerable damage to the vehicle. It actually totaled the vehicle out. We filed a claim with the county's insurance and it was determined that the vehicle was a total loss. The actual cash value for the vehicle is $12,500, and we're requesting county's approval to accept the actual cash value from MMRMA and direct them to sell the vehicle for salvage to the highest bidder. The replacement vehicle will be purchased through the Michigan My Deal program, and the cost to equip the vehicle will be included in this motion, and the estimate may be reduced if some of the equipment from the total vehicle is reusable. So our physical impact will be $68,500, with $12,500 of that coming from the insurance settlement to be paid from the vehicle fund. Fuel and maintenance costs are budgeted in the department budget.
Is this the one we discussed earlier where the deputy hit a horse?
No, sir. This is another vehicle that was involved in
It's
a...
been hard on vehicles this year, man.
Yes, the only silver lining to this, if there is these vehicles were very high mileage, so they were getting close to their end of life cycle anyway, but now we got somebody else pitching in on it, so.
And the deputy's okay.
And the deputy's fine.
There's
that too.
People, somebody run a stop sign.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, how long ago was that?
That was December of last year.
December, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, questions from commissioners? Chair would entertain a motion for approval to accept the actual cash value from the MMRMA of $12,500, which direct them to sell the 2016 Chevy Tahoe, VIN number 1GNLCDECH3111008, for salvage to the highest bidder and approve the purchase of equip a new Tahoe with funds to be paid from the vehicle fund.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Campbell, support by Hatfield. I'm not going to read all that VIN number again. Any questions or discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call a roll?
Bassett?
Aye.
Paulson's absent, Campbell?
Aye.
Getty's absent, Smelter?
Aye.
Tennyson?
Aye.
Hatfield?
Aye.
Jackson?
Aye. The motion is approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Eric, vehicle disposal.
We had a 2016, again, another one of our older vehicles, damaged in a parking lot. The quote, I believe, was just over $2,000 to fix it, as we were going to cycle it out next year anyway. I didn't feel like putting another claim in our insurance after we've had a few already this year. So I'm requesting permission to sell as is or scrap if we don't get bids on it.
Okay, is this something that needs to be replaced, or is there just?
It's going to be replaced in the budget process. We're not, the courts are kind of cycling cars, and the different planning and zoning is going to help let them use their car if they can, or equalization, they've talked to them as well, so we're kind of filling in.
Okay. Questions from commissioners? Chair would entertain a motion for approval to dispose of a 2016 Ford Taurus used by the Troutport Family Division, VIN number 1FAHP2D81GG150538. Who would like to make that motion?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Campbell, support by Hatfield.
Sure. However you want to do it.
Okay. Hatfield, Tennyson. Discussion. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Paulson's absent, Campbell?
Aye.
Getty's absent, Smelter?
Aye.
Tennyson?
Aye.
Bassett?
Aye.
Hatfield?
Aye.
Jackson?
Aye. The motion is approved. Okay, 2026 pay levels for chief deputies.
With the conclusion of the BCCEA contract, we had 3 positions: Chief Deputy Register, Deputy Drain Commissioner, and the First Deputy Treasurer. They all have different titles, so I always tweet, I gotta remember which office I'm talking about. That used to be in the union, but are now out, or pulled out of the union. As part of pulling them out, there is no established pay schedule. So what we have done in the past with the other chief deputies, clerk, prosecutor and Kevin, was to put the salary, Kevin was actually put it at a scale, but we were looking at 75% of the elected official's salary is what we've established as practice, back I think in late '24. So, as we don't have a pay scale for them right now, we need you to approve something today. So these three positions, the salaries listed in the report are 75% of the scale of their respective elected official. Now, we'll need to look at this every year when we do adjustments for elected officials. We'll have to do that adjustments to the chief deputies as well.
But 75% is what we've done for the other deputies.
That is a practice that we established in '24, yes, sir.
Okay. So we're following the same practice, principle, system that we've always had, so.
Yep.
Questions from commissioners?
I have a question. So we evaluate all these officials as well, right?
We do not do anything. So the thing with the 6 chief deputy positions we have at the county, these fall under the purview of the elected official. So taking Sarah as an example, because she's in the room right now, Kayla works for her, she's the chief deputy, she serves at Sarah's will. So if Sarah wants to get rid of her tomorrow, Sarah can. Sarah sets the work standards for her office. The only thing that you have is the budget side. So you're approving that side of it. So whether you think Kayla's doing a great job or not, if Sarah said she's doing a great job, she's keeping her, we got to set a pay. So the only thing that you have from an administrative review standpoint is my position, because I am the only one that works directly for you.
No, but my question is, I guess, is this a standard in county government that these deputies are not reviewed?
Every county, every governmental entity does things a different way. Because this is a change and that has, I think Sarah and Barb, I think Barb actually started it, Barb Hurlis, when she was at a conference, came back, brought this. So I worked with Sarah and Emily and Kelly et al. To go through this, because as a chief elected official, their deputy works directly for them. We have no review. Now, whether you want review practices or not, as a county, typically outside of the courts, we've never, to my knowledge, I cannot see we have a established review policy in place. But that being said, Sarah could look at Kayla and say, hey, Kayla, I think you're doing a great job. Here's your review this year. Or she could just say, Kayla's still here working. Again, that's the discretion of the elected official. Dar could do the same thing with Kevin. If Kevin comes in tomorrow and makes him mad, Dar could say, Kevin, you're out of here.
Okay, you're in that.
Yeah, I just tried to so.
Is there a statute or a reason that we pulled deputies out of the unions? Something changed at some point 2 years ago that was the debate that we were having. Some wanted to, some didn't want to, and it was complicated.
Yeah, so if you're trying to, everyone's recollection on this one, it wasn't a statute that changed, it was basically knowledge that was provided to the county. It was something that was out there that we had never done. And we had positions in the union, we had positions out of the union, so we had a very unique thing. And as in the union, then they have union protection, they're not at will. So we were gonna say if we needed to fight the issue of taking them out of the union, which they shouldn't be in a union if there's supervision over union members, and at the will of the elected official.
That's what it was.
Yep.
Maybe there was something. Additional questions?
I just have a comment on this, and not against it. The 75% is fine. And the elected get to choose who their deputy is fine. But I do believe that with them getting a salary, being non-union, it is the elected's responsibility that that person knows how to do their job in their absence. Because I know when Dar's gone, Kevin runs the department. I'm pretty sure he's available by phone, but none of that. And I believe excuse me, I see that in the clerk's office too, when Sarah's missing.
Yep.
And I think that's extremely important that these deputies know their job, that they can take over in the absence of the elected. and I know we don't have any control over elected, but I just want all of them to know my stance on that. Thank you.
I agree. We had some situations where that wasn't the case, so.
Is this a separate deal? Mr. Chair, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is the deputies a separate deal than like the 6% raise for certain people?
Yeah.
And so we can discuss
This is a
that?
one-off issue, just these three
Okay,
people.
so we can discuss that
Yeah.
after this, okay.
No.
The chair would entertain a motion for approval of the 2026 pay levels for the Chief Deputy Register of Deeds, First Deputy Treasurer, and Deputy Drain Commissioner, and approve pay increases retroactive to January 1st, 2026. Who would like to make that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Tunison,
Support.
support by Campbell for approval of the 2026 pay levels for Chief Deputy Register of Deeds, First Deputy Treasurer, and Deputy Drain Commissioner, and approve pay increases retroactive to January 1st, 2026. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Campbell.
Aye.
Getty's absent. Smelter.
Aye.
Tennyson.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
Colton's absent. Hatfield.
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. Motion is approved. Next up, Department Head and Non-Represented Employee Pay Scales.
So with the conclusion of 4 of the 5 union contracts, it was time for us, we stated this back in December when we approved the interim 3% raise, that we would revisit this issue when union negotiations finished. So we have traditionally approved we have a 3-year contract. Previously it was a 5-year contract. So we always had a pay scale for all of these positions, for those people on the pay scale. So if you look at the pay scale that immediately follows the agenda report request, that 26, 27, 28, that would be for 17 individuals who are gone through the classification system and have a pay scale slotted on that. So what is in here is recommended as a 3% increase to match the 6% that we gave the union. So this would just match what we did, which has been our traditional practice, as explained to me by previous administrator and deputy administrator. So typically, the non-union scale is just above the union scale. So if we left it at 3%, it would get to the point where, in a lot of cases, they'd be at or probably just above. So this is just recommended to keep the existing gap between the union and non-union scale.
And we've done this in the past.
Yes, nothing new in this one.
Okay.
Now, I can tackle the other 2 things that are on this agenda. The senior staff pay scale, the courts have set these wages for Inez, Dave Plon, and Daisy Chernosky, which is the 3% again, above what they're currently making, which they had the 3% in January when the rest of us did. I'm perfectly comfortable. When I put this together, I took every non-union employee and put it on the sheet, just so you had a chance to look at it. It gives you options. I'm perfectly comfortable if you pull me off of it. I have no issue with that. But again, I'm non-union. I do have a contract, but I want to at least throw it out there. So if you don't want to do that today, perfectly fine by me. If you want to do something, perfectly fine by me as well. The rest of them, and then Carrie Selleck as the Chief Public Defender, any raise that she gets is 100% covered by the state of Michigan, because we are meeting our current maintenance requirement. What we spend, we are way behind on the public defender salary. So my recommendation is to move her up to what's still underneath the prosecutor, but very close.
Okay.
And then the deputy administrator rate you already set for the year. So that's just on there as kind of an FYI.
Commissioner Tunison.
Well, but not all electeds are on there, right, on this list?
There is no elected official on here.
Right.
These are all appointed positions.
Okay, so but we agreed to look at that right after negotiations were done? Not for us, I'm not talking.
No, I know you're talking about the elected officials.
Yeah.
We can't touch your salary. I don't recall that aspect. I know typically we do that on an annual basis. I don't have those numbers for you today, but I could next meeting if you want to attack the electeds now.
Electeds are set for the year, and we set those in November, December, whatever the case was.
Okay, so they're not eligible for the additional 3%.
We can raise their salary during the course of their term. We can't lower their salaries during the course of the term, if you recall correctly. My intention was to tackle them during because it's separate than the pay scale, is to tackle them during the budget process like you would do me. But that's completely your discretion. If you want to give them their additional 3%, if that's what you so choose to, you're more than willing to able to do that. But you yourself cannot get a raise until your next term.
We paid ourselves really nice with that 2%. So, you know, yes. Questions?
So you're not gonna look at, not to interrupt, but you're not gonna look at that until budget time?
That was my intention. But if you want to change that, that's perfect. You're able to give me that direction.
Do you have a TAPA scale?
Do I have a TAPA scale?
Does anybody in the county have a TAPA scale?
Yeah, the positions, the scales are in the packet. So the grade 15, year 4 is our top scale for those positions. For myself, Inez, the deputies, there's no set scale. That is addressed on an annual basis.
And then what do you do at TAPA scale? Is there any kind of longevity policy?
We increase the percentage every year. So this year, we have several of these people are already at year 4 of their scales, so they would get the 6%. And then next year, if you approve the scale, they would get 4.5, and then the following year, 4.5. So yeah.
Mr. Chair? Okay. So is that fair to, some people are getting a 6 and some people are only getting a 3? I guess I'm asking you the question.
If you're talking elected officials versus
what
others?
What entitles some people to get 6 and some people only get 3? Is what my point is.
I was tackling the non-union folks that were in the list. The judges already, I was informed what to do with the court staff because the judges set those salaries. You've already set deputy administrators, so myself and the electeds would be the only that are a little different than the staff I mentioned already. Some department heads, some positions in office manager type positions. My staff, except for Sherry, are all on the non-union scale.
Well, you're getting the 6%.
No, I'm telling you, you don't have to do that.
Okay, that's what you're saying, we don't have to do that.
You don't have to. I just put it on there as an example. If you don't want to give it to me, that's fine.
I thought when and I'll accept the fact that my memory is less than perfect, but I thought when we went with the 3 on the electeds, that we said that we would revisit that once the contracts were settled and we knew what the rest of the adjustments were going to be.
I remember.
And I don't recall that, so that's, my memory could be too. So if that's the direction you want to do, you can approve a 3% raise to the electeds at this point. And you can, to the current wage, so I don't have those numbers in front of me, but you can just make a 3% increase for those people.
But we said we'd look at it, we didn't say what we were going to do about it, we just said we'd evaluate.
All right. So we're going to take Eric, deputy administrator, off of this. We don't really have control over the court. They set their own pay scales, and a lot of those are paid. As you had mentioned, Carrie's is 100% paid, so that doesn't come out of her pocket.
100% of the increase is paid.
100% of the increase.
We pay part of her salary already as out of our funds because we are required to spend a minimal amount, a certain amount.
So I would just suggest that, we ask Eric to bring back the elected officials next meeting so that we can review that. I don't know that we ought to establish a practice where it's automatic and whatever the union is. It's a special group.
Okay. We can bring it back in 2 weeks,
That's fine.
take a look at it. Okay. That'll be fine.
But I would recommend, so if you're going to make the motion, I would recommend you to approve the department head scale, approve the senior, I'll delete myself and the deputy administrator, but I would still like you to approve the court scale, just to have it in the minutes so for audit purposes, even though that's the direction I've been given on the court side.
So courts and non-representative.
Yes.
I'm sure that's what I said.
And with the courts, that's 1, 2,
3 people.
3. But they get raises through the judges without our okay, right?
I want it from a budgetary audit standpoint, so that they can look at and say, you approve the budget, we list the wages, I just want some documentation that shows we acknowledge
But
that.
this is not in addition to, this is confirming what the judges have indicated that they want to do. Correct?
That's correct. So next year, when you see this, when you see it in the budget, this is one of the tweets we're going to list the, electeds, leadership, wages in the budget document itself. So when you see that, you'll be approving that people understand what salaries go where. Now, I won't have everybody's in there, because there's 280 people in the county, but at least you'll have a little more leadership.
Okay, so we're removing department head and senior staff, or we're leaving senior staff in here.
If you want to change senior staff to court staff and public defender,
Court staff.
and just do it 26. Don't do the through 28. Because we can do that on an annual basis.
So, if I'm hearing you right, the chair would entertain a motion for approval of the 2026 non-representative employee pay scale and 2026 public defender and courts, and authorize retroactive pay from January 1st, 2026 through April 17th, 2026 for all non-union employees.
Sounds right.
Is that close, Sarah? Did you get that? Okay. Who would like to make that motion?
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
Okay. Further discussion or questions for Eric?
I have heard you. I will have elected officials at the next meeting.
Okay. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Getty's absent. Smoker.
Aye.
Judison.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
Calkins absent. Campa.
Aye.
Hatfield.
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved.
So for the majority of the staff, you won't have to do an increase their set for the next 3 years. It's just be elected senior staff that you'll do on an annual basis.
Okay. All right. And approval of an agreement with Berry Community Foundation.
So the Berry Community Resource Network has been in place for a while. It's a multi-collaborative body that was set up by the state, I think, back in the 2000s. I served on the one in Branch when I was down there. Worked on a variety of usually social service issues. The county has been the fiduciary since it was established. Late last year, Liz Lenz, and I can't remember the gentleman's name who was with her, approached me about dissolving the BCRN. So they had a meeting with the whole BCRN membership, laid out the issues. I believe Commissioner Calton serves as our representative to the BCRN. And what came back is they decided not to dissolve it, but they're kind of morphing the body. They're kind of doing some training and education. I know I believe tomorrow they're doing a session at the library on communication platforms that can be used by different bodies to get their word out, which I thought was interesting. I was going to attend, but I'll be in Lansing with a few of you tomorrow at MAC. So, long story, I promise I can get to the end. They approached us, and the foundation would like to serve as the fiduciary in this case.
So they're asking us to sign the agreement, approve the agreement, and authorize Chairman Jackson to sign, and we'd be transferring what little is in the BCR and coffers over to the foundation. The dues are like, I think, $30 a year. I mean, it's, per organization, it's not a lot of money.
And you said legal has reviewed this, they didn't see any issues with it.
They tweaked a few words in there a little bit, but this is a boilerplate foundation agreement.
No big fees, no expenses, nothing on us for this, this is just.
You're basically.
Changing from one organization
Yep.
to another from a fiduciary
Yep.
responsibility. Okay. Simple stuff.
On this one, yes.
Questions? Chair would entertain a motion for approval of an agreement with the Berry Community Foundation that transfers fiduciary responsibility from the Berry Community Resource Network and authorize Chair Jackson to sign on behalf of the county.
So move.
Support.
Motion by Tennyson, support by Bassett for approval of the agreement with the Berry Community Foundation that transfers fiduciary responsibility for the Berry Community Resource Network and authorize Chair Jackson to sign on behalf of the county. Additional discussion or questions? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Smelter.
Aye.
Tennyson.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
Felton's absent, Campbell.
Aye.
Getty's absent, Hatfield.
Aye.
And Jackson.
Aye. The motion is approved. New business, we have none. County Administrator's report.
Couple things, just a reminder, I will be in Lansing tomorrow for the MAC conference. Chair Jackson, hopefully, Commissioner Bassett and I will be there attending on behalf of the county, and looking forward to bringing some information back and see what's new in Lansing right now. Just wanted to give you a heads up. We have our fourth and final interview for the Deputy Administrator today. This afternoon, Commissioner Hatfield and I have been doing those. Hopefully, we'll see where we stand at the end of that interview and what direction we're going to take with that position. And then, just in 15 minutes, I have a cybersecurity briefing update from Senator Slotkin's office, so we'll see anything new that's out there that we need to know. And I will say, I will commend the IT department and thank the commissioners for their support with a new staff member working with the front of the court. But IT is doing a great job, and they take their position seriously. Every county employee has cybersecurity training that they have to take quarterly. We encourage the commissioners to take the same training when you get the emails. We can't require you, but we would really like if you would. But staff is required to take it. I'll even say to elected officials, we're going to make them take it too. And most of them do. But it really is important for us. What's happened to some other counties, we do take it seriously. We are upgrading to new technology and things begin into the budget. So that is one area you will not see me shirk on. We will do our best to put our best foot forward on that front. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you.
Chairperson's report, just a couple notes. I know Wednesday is the public hearing at Rutland Township for Meyer. So, excuse me, not for Meyer, for a 425 agreement between Hastings City and Rutland Township. So that'll be interesting to see because that is the gateway if there is to be a Meyer at some point in the future. So if you know somebody from Rutland Township who has an opinion, they are invited to attend that for sure. Vice Chairperson's report.
And actually, just to elaborate on that a little bit, assuming that the 425 agreements are approved, and it's on the city council's agenda for tonight, and I'm relatively certain that they will approve their piece of that. That is what then will enable the Joint Planning Commission to start the site plan review, which I think a lot of the questions that are still out there are more about the site plan than they are actually about the 425 agreement. So it'll start that whole process.
Perfect. Thank you. Commissioner Campbell.
Not a lot for me. I just want to make a comment. I did have a constituent that had some issues going on with drain field issues and stuff, so I contacted Eric and our health department, and I'm very pleased that they jumped right on it, took it over, and it's being all taken care of. So I just wanted to give my appreciation for that assistance.
Thank you, Commissioner Peterson.
I haven't had any meetings in a week or so, so I don't have anything on that part, so.
Commissioner Smell?
Had transit this morning, everything's going well there. Looking forward to the new COA opening in August. And I have 911 this afternoon.
Commissioner Bassett?
I was able to attend the Area 3B Agency on Aging for the first time in about a year, and so that was a good experience to learn a little bit more about the regional COA, basically is what it is. And then I had Glib and Prairieville, so both good meetings.
Okay.
I got one other thing, can I?
Yes.
Eric, we got security tomorrow? 3:30? Thank you.
Just curious, where are we with 911 with Stephanie?
Stephanie is moving on, and we will be posting the job. Very sorry to see her go.
Yes.
It's-
Sounds like a nice opportunity for her, but
It
loss
is.
for us.
It's,
She is well known throughout the state.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. Limited public comment at this time. Any member of the public wishing to address the board may do so for up to 3 minutes.
Coming through and the sun hits you like you got an idea, That'd be a big idea. Just help you understand a little bit more about the elected offices. The Mac Prince case, Justice Scalia laid it out pretty good. He says, the Constitution protects us for our own best intentions and divides power among sovereigns and 3 branches. So what he's referring to on the sovereigns is obviously sovereign states, but each and every one of us is a sovereign office. You represent people in your area. Sheriff, she's a clerk. And it's very important we understand that, because that case had to do with overreaching government, and it was our job to keep people in our area, to stay focused on the people in our area. I did it during the COVID problems we had there, when they started putting all these mask mandates and all this stuff on everybody, but that was way beyond what the governor's job was supposed to be. They were trying to send stuff down from the federal government, and guys, that's out of, you have no authority to do that. And they finish it with, it divides power among sovereigns and branches of government, so we may resist, it says precisely, so we may resist the temptation to concentrate power in one location as an expedient solution to the crisis of the day. And that's basically what he's saying, is that we are all sovereign, we make decisions. I run the sheriff's office the way I was elected to go do it. She runs the clerk's office, and so on. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit more. Secondly, I don't know why my undersheriff's considered a chief deputy. He's not. He's an undersheriff. That's a mandated spot by a statute. And it's been mandated for, gosh, I bet you over